Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I'm a Western Practical Astrologer. Okay, so we're here today to talk all about Uranus through the houses. Well, we're at the end of this planets through all of the signs, all of the houses. Naturally, we will be exploring other players within astrology, but Uranus is our final planet. Yeah, very exciting. So I hope that you're looking forward to this one. I am looking forward to sharing this information with you all. Now, firstly, I want to say, of course, thank you. Thank you for being here and just thank you for all of the support. I am so happy to just receive your feedback, and it makes me feel good knowing that others are getting to really take this information in, right? Because I've been getting so many comments, and just ultimately, I hope that you have been finding these videos to be helpful. Now, naturally here, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff today. And with that, okay, Uranus through the houses. Where is Uranus in your chart? So for me, Uranus is in Capricorn in the 5th house. Yes. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. You can find all of my astrology products over there. Plus, thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. And if you would like to become a patron, you can do so by going to the link below. Thank you. Now, over on my podcast, the Cosmic Check-In podcast, there is an episode all about Uranus in astrology. So that is episode 16, focusing on things like rebellion, breakthroughs, and alternatives. And you see, today, we are going to focus on the rebellious stuff. Ooh. And we're also going to look at how, or where, should I say, where, right? Houses are the where. So where you explore alternatives. But we want to think about Uranus. Let's touch on Uranus. So Uranus represents the collective consciousness, social change. Think about the masses, society. This is what Uranus is highly about. How are we connected in this way? How are we connected socially? But Uranus then is also about how society changes, how your generation changes socially. And what comes with that are the likes of these technological advancements, these technological shifts. And following on from this point, Uranus is then this generational planet. Now, I do have an ebook. It is the Aquarius season ebook, and I have went through all of the Uranus signs in that ebook. Maybe I will get around to writing about Uranus through the signs at some point, but the thing about your Uranus sign is that's more generational. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to dive into your Uranus house, because that's going to be much more personal. Uranus then also is linked to new laws, new regulations, new legislations, which then come to be. And naturally, these things change society. So, a few examples here. When we consider inventions, right? The inventive stuff, the social change stuff tied to Uranus. When Uranus was in Leo, so this was 1962. In 1962, the audio cassette was created. So we see here this invention, how this invention changed society, and what then also transpired from that, what unfolded from that. And then we see here with Virgo, so when Uranus was in Virgo, 1963, what came to be? Valium, the DRUG, which apparently is just another way for diazepam. And this medication treats anxiety, seizures, muscle spasms, twitches, etc., just helping calm down the nervous system. How very Virgo. how very Virgo. And then we notice, oh, and by the way, just with Leo, I mean, Leo is so much about entertainment, music, right? Interesting. Dance, play. You can certainly do that. You can dance and play to fun songs via, the audio cassette. But then we see here in 2011, whilst Uranus was in Pisces, Gaia came to be. I think it's Gaia TV. Now, I'm pretty sure that when Gaia was first discovered, it was called something else, but then it was renamed Gaia later on. But point being, Pisces is, right, it's a very spiritual sign. And Gaia TV is very much about the metaphysical stuff. If you maybe look it up for yourself if you're not sure. But there we go. Uranus and Pisces innovating the metaphysical world, bringing it to people's screens. Technology, these technological shifts to do with Uranus. So Uranus then really looks at how systems are shattered. I mean, shattered. I always think of a light bulb and someone just comes and smashes it into smithereens. This is the kind of jarring quality to Uranus. So the placement of Uranus in your chart represents how you shatter existing systems, right? Think about structures, systems, laws, rules, regulations, stuff like this, how such things can be shattered. And then what happens is we create alternatives. There is a desire with Uranus to venture into the unexplored and to know how others think. Uranus here then is about our unique and different opinions. Uranus invites difference. But you see, there can also be a side to Uranus that can show up as how your generation's push for change can be shut down due to the likes of caution, rules, and tradition. Now, there's something about the mythology here, which is why it's important to maybe listen to the episode all about Uranus, but there is that mythology tied to Uranus and Saturn, Cronus. But really here, Uranus is about these blow-ups, these disruptions to the system. And what can come with this is chaos, anarchy. Naturally, what can also come about are these breakthroughs. Perhaps too, feelings of loneliness, feeling like an outcast. You consider how, for instance, you might be within a group of people, right? The collective consciousness stuff. Even think about that hive mind stuff to do with Uranus and the collective, but you could be within a group of people and maybe you're thinking, I don't actually agree with this. I don't think this. I don't feel like I can relate here. So you can, within that, feel like an outcast. You can feel like you're quite different and it's hard to connect. You consider even all of these terminologies, which have been repeated more and more today, things like people being sheep, as an example. People are asleep. They're asleep. They're not aware of themselves. They're not aware of this reality. It makes me think about the Matrix, right? Which pill? You take the red pill, the blue pill. Do you want to stay asleep? Do you want to know the truth, right? It's that stuff here with Uranus. It's very fascinating. But what we're going to do today is we are going to look at where you rebel and where you explore alternatives. And naturally, the thing about this too is Uranus is about how we break rules, how we challenge authority, how we challenge the status quo. Is this to say that challenging the status quo and authority is always a good thing? No. The thing about Uranus too is madness can come about. You think about even conspiracy theories, right? And perhaps many conspiracy theories, they're not actually backed up by much. And then it's like, well, are you just, where did you really get that information from? What are your facts there? But with the same token, there are individuals out there who have been challenging the status quo and questioning the way society is built, the way society has been run, and they get called out as being crazy. You're crazy. You are a conspiracy theorist. But then fast forward, give it time with Uranus, right? Uranus is very much about the future. Fast forward many years later, oh my gosh, right? This is all actually happening. It's true. It's true. It's true. Oh, wow. People are being exposed. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. Right. So it's not. It's not really a black and white thing here. And so I hope from this information you can see that Uranus is a planet where we've got to think about, give it some time. Naturally, with that, Uranus is unpredictable. You never really know when the lightning is going to strike. Consider the amount of very disruptive, unexpected changes that happen within society. So, indeed, Uranus has a shocking quality, a surprising, jarring, shattering quality to it, a chaotic quality. Can be rebellious, can revolt, but it's also about breaking free. It's also about liberation. Those breakthroughs that we have and that we experience as well as a collective within our own lives, etc. The epiphanies, the aha moments. Again, we think about the lightning stuff. Lightning could strike at any time, but that lightning could be like a manifestation of the electrifying currents that run through your mind. The intuition, it just hits you and you see it all in a flash. I've had those experiences before. Mercury in Aquarius here. Right, anyway, let's now dive into the houses now that we've kind of explained what Uranus is all about. So again, just a reminder, we're going to focus on the rebellious side, so where you rebel, and then also where you seek alternatives. So Uranus in the first house, individuals. Right, so if you've got Uranus in the first house, well, let's think about how the first house is about our identity and our approach to life. You may be a highly independent, freedom-oriented person. You're all about wanting to make your own decisions, wanting to direct your life the way you want. And you will most likely rebel against anyone or anything that tells you that you can't be free, that you can't be independent. And you may set out to create the life that you want, even if that life is seen as strange to others, even if it's seen as unusual. Heck, you could be the types of people who, whilst yes, you can march to the beat of your own drum and you can be very creative, etc., and highly innovative, but perhaps as well, this space at times can be lonely. It might kind of feel like you're this outcast, or like how you conduct yourself, how you live your life doesn't really fit in with the social norms. And at the same time, I do think that there is a side to you that thrives within this, that is able to go, hey, yeah, I am gonna live the life the way that I want to. I'm all about, the unconventional, and I don't have to conform to other people's expectations and stuff like that. So you really show this, right? You show this energy, and you may inspire actually other people to think for themselves, to question the status quo, to question authority and certain systems, right? But I still can't help but feel as if there's a part of you that maybe wishes that there were other people who could think in a similar way or could see life the way you see it. Because there could be the whole thing of, I'm trying to make people see, I'm trying to get them to understand, but they don't see it. They don't see it, right? You're trying to warn everybody. But I'll give you this. You may find people who actually do relate to you on this level. Yeah. You may find your tribe, so to speak. And the thing about it too is that you're not just going to you're not just going to give up the part of you that is about your own unique views, right? You're not gonna compromise on that, so to speak. And so maybe there's something about here, others aligning with your way of viewing the world, your way of approaching life. And when you find those people, who you can relate to, connect with, that is even more wonderful. And maybe that's where we really see with you the community piece. Feeling like, yes, I'm part of a community. I feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself. And maybe as well, just in general, you implement your unconventional and original views here, and you implement them into your life. They become a part of your process. And you may have particular social views, and then these social views show up in they show up through how you deal with others, how you connect with others, relate to them, introduce yourself to others. You think outside of the box when it comes to social norms. And I also see this as you having such strong visions, right, for a better future. You envision the world and think about, right, how can society be done better? And I do feel as if you want to do good in the world. And I also see this as you wanting to share with humanity all that you know. Maybe because there is a part of you that can see, yes, these changes should be made. These differences should be made within the world. And so you could very well make these parts of you, a part of your life story. You may sort of integrate these parts of you into how you lead and direct your life. Oh, yes, Uranus in the first house, folks. You possess this rebellious side to you, and you can see what needs to be changed within society. And you're going to be very true. You're going to stay true to these things, stay true to your views, and true to yourself, right? Even when it comes to your physical appearance, how you present yourself to the world. There can be something quite eccentric about you, something quite quirky and fun. And really, you're going to dress how you want, right? Nobody's going to tell you what to wear, how to style yourself, how to do your hair, etc., etc. And I would even say with this that you can come across as very humane, right? As if people can feel and sense just how much you care. You can be really friendly too. But then again, there's also this level of detachment. There is some type of detachment present. And maybe you can be in your own head a lot of the time. But hey, overall, I feel like you can be very inspirational. You can inspire others with your teachings, with your knowledge, etc. Okay, so if here you have an Aquarius rising, right? Aquarius is in the first house, it's on the rising. You want to locate your chart rulers. Your chart rulers would be Saturn and also Uranus. Locate those chart rulers within your chart, then bring that information back to that of how you approach life, your identity, your physical appearance, etc. All right, so let's now move on to Uranus in the second house, folks. So with Uranus being in the second house, well, this is where we notice how you tend to think outside of the box when it comes to your materials and your possessions, when it comes to your spending habits. The way you spend your money, the way you earn your money could be quite unconventional, a bit different. Maybe you even rebel in some ways. So you could rebel against how people consume, or rebelling against the whole materialism stuff. Maybe you don't really like to be identified as being overly materialistic, or it's that you would rather be independent when it comes to your materials and your earnings. You like to know that you're resourceful and that you can accumulate your own money. You know, that you don't necessarily have to follow the status quo to do that. There's some change there. There's a different approach, sort of challenging the status quo, really, when it comes to materials, earnings, spending. Consider even here, you just might do something material in a material way. So, for example, this may just be a silly example, but you could design your home in a particular way. And all of a sudden, you notice that loads of people are starting to do that. And you then might choose to change things because you think, oh no, everyone's doing that now. I don't I don't want to just be a part of the trend in this way. Yeah, it's like you are trend setters, not really followers when it comes to the material world. And really, overall, you want to think for yourself. And you just might rebel against others who try to tell you how to spend your money, how to earn your money, even the way that you earn money. So, of course, this could be related to a job. So, the way you earn money could be via being independent, freelance work, self-employment, preferring to have many incomes, and maybe such matters are quite out there, right? Very different. And you may also earn money via these technological advancements. Think about all of the technological stuff that have come out. You could very well be smart and think about, right, how can I use the technology stuff to my benefit? And even if certain people think, oh, you're weird, you're strange, you're unusual, for doing that, you're still like, so I'm still, I'm still going to do it. And you may even surprise yourself with your outside of the box ways of doing things. Plus, there could be here those sudden changes, the disruptions, the blow ups when it comes to your finances unexpectedly, right? Oh my gosh, suddenly things are going really well and I have loads of money, but then suddenly things could change and there's not so much money coming in. And so trying to find that balance may be a bit difficult. But with those harsh fluctuations, those harsh changes, I feel like for you, you may be able to find a way to make that work. Then again, when it comes to, so you can be creative, you can be innovative, but still, it's the sudden disruptions that can throw you off, throw you into chaos at times. And even on that note, this is where we notice how you can explore alternatives. You can think outside of the box. So you can be perhaps very good within areas related to finances whenever you're able to explore those alternatives. I think about how Uranus right now is actually in Taurus, right? So the second house, that sort of domain of Taurus in astrology. And we've seen this. We've seen the disruptions, the blow-ups, the chaos when it comes to business, finances, people's earnings, etc. Inflation, all the rest of it. Jupiter was in Taurus last year. But we've also seen the innovation. People coming to social media, people using the technology to their benefit, people thinking outside of the box. Because you know what? We have no other way. There's no other way. We have to think about, right, what is the alternative here? It's a good way for problem solving, coming up with solutions. So Uranus in the second house, folks, you may be really good at problem solving in this regard. Now, if Aquarius rules the second house cusp in your chart, you may very well relate to the information that I just shared there, but you'll want to think about locating both Saturn and Uranus and then bringing that information back to all of the financial stuff, relate it back to the financial stuff. So let's now think about Uranus in the third house, folks. So with Uranus in the third house, my goodness, you are the ones who think for yourselves. You will challenge the status quo. You will challenge authority, challenge what is being taught within society. Heck, when it comes to the whole schooling system, you may very well challenge the schooling system and think to yourself, it's just not set up for everybody. It wasn't set up for me. I got accused of not paying attention, but really, I was just bored. That information didn't stimulate me, but didn't mentally stimulate me. But yet, you actually do really enjoy learning and you're very curious people. But it's the curiosity more so toward things that excite you, that the stuff that excites you, even thinking about technology, science, space. You may be really interested in these types of subjects, but just in a general sense here, the way you learn is then very unique to you. And you're not about, okay, I have to fit into this certain box. I have to be this particular way. You're like, no, I'm going to go with my own style. I'm going to find my own rhythm with this. And you could very well inspire the collective with your thoughts here. You could create a new system, a new way to teach, a new way to learn, possibly. We could see this with Uranus entering Gemini in the next few years. When it comes to the educational stuff, we could see the innovation. We could see more of the trying new things, exploring alternatives when it comes to education. So indeed, for you, firstly, you're going to rebel against teachers and even parents. Maybe you rebelled against your parents who were trying to force you to, you must learn this, 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 and this. Or you could rebel even against certain classmates or peers, especially if it was that You were made to feel like you were strange, unusual. So there is this rebellious side to you. You think like a rebel. You may be the types of people who really do think, "Ah, I can't stand sheep. Can't stand people who can't think for themselves," because you know how to think for yourselves. And then as for the exploring alternative stuff, we notice that, yeah, you're going to consider what is being said, and then you will see a different view. Maybe you can have this really good way of going above it, right? Seeing it from a bird's eye view. My goodness, you could be great at bringing really complex ideas and concepts, bringing that down and articulating it in such a way where, okay, sure, there could be people who think, huh? What? You're weird. But then there could also be people who think, you are a genius. You're an absolute genius. You're so creative. How did you know that? Okay. Really, really. And I even want to mention, when we think about how the third house is tied to our neighborhood, right? So our local area, our city, our local city, well, with the sudden changes of Uranus, we could see this. You relocating quite a bit, maybe growing up, maybe having to find a new way to get to work or commuting, stuff about vehicles. Oh my gosh, the sudden changes to do with vehicles. You just, right? Certain accidents that could happen. But there's also the alternatives, exploring alternatives. My gosh, you could be very good at coming up with solutions then. So there could be some type of sudden change that happens related to vehicles or commuting. And then you're like, right, okay, re-strategize. I know what to do. I have the idea. Let's go with it. Now, if Aquarius rules the third house cusp in your chart, you may very well relate to some of the information that I just shared there, but you want to think about locating both Saturn and Uranus within your chart, and then to bring that information back to the ways in which you think and communicate and learn, etc. Okay, so let's now think about turning our focus to Uranus in the fourth house, folks. Uranus in the fourth house. So firstly, I want to say Uranus is in the fourth house in my chart, and it's in Capricorn using the Placidus system. This is the Placidus system. Well, you, Uranus in the fourth house, folks, are the people who challenge the status quo. You challenge the social norms when it comes to family. Yep, when it comes to family, you may think to yourself, nope, I don't want to do that. You look at your own family, you look at your own parents, possibly, how you were raised, and you think, don't want that. I'm going to do it differently. And you could very well challenge and rebel against your own parents. Oh, maybe you got into so much trouble for being a bit of a rebel growing up. You got into all sorts of issues and disagreements with your parents, and maybe your parents learned very quickly, this child cannot be given direction. What are we going to do? But maybe what your parents did not recognize is that in some way, shape, or form, you kind of learned it from them, either directly or indirectly, either consciously or unconsciously. Maybe because the actual family situation was within itself pretty chaotic. Maybe you looked at your family and you thought, who are they to try to tell me who to be, what to do, rules to follow, whenever they are being so contradictory? Like, hypocrites much? Really? Yes. And the other thing about this, the sudden changes within the home amongst your family, the unpredictable events, suggesting what? Suggesting possibly for you challenges in relaxing, being able just to switch off, being able to come to a place of calm and ease and rest and relaxation within your home. Everything just feels like I'm on edge, you know, the chaotic stuff. Because within the home, growing up, it was just one thing after the other. It could have been just drama after drama after drama. And you think, here we go again. But then we also notice you possibly, as you go to set up a home for yourself, your living situation there in the future, sudden changes again. Oh my goodness, here. As I say, Uranus is in the 4th house in my chart when we look to the Placidus system. And I have moved so many times. I can't even tell you how many times I've moved. No. Now, with that in mind, don't get me wrong. I have still enjoyed the process. I have. Each place I've lived in, I have desired my freedom. I have valued where I've been. Enjoyed it for, for what it was in this way. But even on that note, when it comes to home, when it comes to your living situation, Uranus in the 4th house, folks, you need to feel free. And you need to feel like you can be creative, you can be innovative, you can, in a way, let all of your unique, different perspectives and visions come alive within your home. And this is where we notice the rebellion. Rebelling against certain family structures and systems. And because of that, yeah, sure, possibly family thinking that you are very detached or you're cold or very distant. But really, I feel like a lot of it is to do with your own inner security, your emotional safety, or just needing that space for yourself. And even with the exploring alternative stuff, we could see this when it comes to your home. I mean, I have looked at certain homes to possibly buy in the future to live more permanently in, of course. And I would love something that's a little bit quirky and a little bit different, I think. Something fun, something interesting. Yes. So maybe for you, it could be that your home or wherever you live, there's something quite different. It involves you seeking alternatives or trying out something unique to you. A different strategy, a different approach there. Or this could be related to family again. So the seeking alternative stuff when it comes to family overall. If Aquarius rules your 4th house cusp, or if Aquarius is on the IC, you may very well relate to the information that I just shared, but what you want to think about is locating Saturn and Uranus for more information, and then bring that information back to family and home. All right, so let's now think about Uranus in the 5th house, folks. So Uranus is in the 5th house in my chart using the whole sign system. So with Uranus being in the 5th house, first things first, the 5th house is about love, romance, dating, relationships, children. So we notice here you really marching to the beat of your own drum when it comes to these areas. So as an example here, you could notice so many people in their 20s getting married, having kids, they have a home, etc. But you may question that and think for yourself more so. You may prefer to do your own thing. And even when it comes to children, you could decide to explore other methods, right? It could be that you adopt, okay? You may decide to adopt, or you may even decide that you don't want to have children at all with Uranus in the fifth house. Or another possibility is that suddenly you fall pregnant or your partner falls pregnant. Suddenly you do become a parent. So there could be the unexpected here, naturally, with Uranus in the fifth house. And you may also rebel against authority when it comes to romance and love and dating. So your type, your style of romance, etc., could be a bit more unconventional, not really following the status quo, just preferring to go with something outside of the box and not following what has been done. Possibly as well, seeking that excitement and that fun within your romantic relationships. Just focusing more on, okay, let's just enjoy. Let's not put much pressure on this. There's spontaneity in it as well. Just go with it. Consider even when it comes to hobbies, forms of enjoyment, things like that. Well, such matters could be, again, they could be more unconventional. You might enjoy things that many people can't really relate to so much. Or maybe it's that you can get these big rushes, these hits of inspiration and excitement, and the passion is there. The passion is there, and so you just go with it. Maybe when it comes to your creativity, you really like to be original. You really like to be unique. Maybe that's important to you in some way, shape, or form, right? That there is something different that you're bringing to the table. You know what, just in general, it's just about adding a unique twist. So even if there is an idea that comes up, right? There is some sort of idea that comes up, and you think, oh yeah, that would be a great idea when it comes to a creative project. You're still gonna add your own little unique element to it. You might also entertain yourself in rather weird ways, possibly. Or you might possess different perspectives toward things like sports or gambling. Maybe you have so many creative ideas. You have so many. And even if you are to become a parent, or if you're to have children, your parenting style is going to be different to that of how you were parented. You may find joy in the unexpected. Just find joy in those unexpected moments. You experience fun in unexpected ways. You could surprise yourself within love. You could really shock and surprise your romantic partners. And you might also really think about the future when it comes to love and romance, right? You're still going to think about the future. And if you do have children, your children may very well, they could challenge authority. Your children could be quite rebellious against you at times. And you're just sitting there laughing because you're like, yep, that's my child. And you see yourself in them a little bit. But you know what? Your children as well could be quite charitable, friendly, giving. They could have a side to them that's quite humanitarian and cares about society. Now, if Aquarius rules the fifth house cusp in your chart, you may relate to the information that I just shared. Naturally, what you want to do is you want to locate Saturn and Uranus for more information, and then bring that information back to that of children, entertainment, art, etc., creativity, etc. All right, so let's now move our focus to that of Uranus in the 6th house, folks. All right. So with Uranus being in the 6th house, here we see that your way of doing things, okay, your way of performing your everyday tasks, quite unconventional. And there may not be so much of a structure or a process, but then again, the process is more unique to you, quite possibly. But we notice you rebelling when it comes to work, when it comes to the whole 9 to 5 work week, stuff like that. You might prefer something else, right? A new style, a new way of showing up. Naturally, I mean, today, when we think about the amount of people who have started their own businesses, right, with Uranus being in Taurus and then Pluto and Capricorn as well, these changes are happening. We see this. We do see the unconventional within the workforce. And people's routines have changed massively over the years. So there is that. Even I think about that with relation to family and home and children. More and more people are just, they're doing things differently today. And it's almost like that will become more of the norm with time, interestingly enough. But anyway, 6th house territory here, we think about the work life that you have. We think about the flexibility that you desire, the freedom, the freedom that you desire, the freedom to choose, the independence that you seek when it comes to your working life, and the independence that you're seeking as well, just when it comes to your everyday stuff, the mundane, those sort of tasks and chores that you got to do and the routines. You could just decide, hey, I'm going to switch things up and that's it. But then again, this could be more so outside events that happen. It could be something unexpected that changes your routine, changes the order of things. And you're like, oh, have to really readjust here. Or it may be that you can, of course, be efficient, but it's the methods that you use that you change up. You're all about, okay, let me experiment with that. Let me see, right, what works well here? What can I change here? What can I do differently so that I do get the results that I want, but I'm maybe not having to put in as much work as I need to. Okay, you're thinking outside of the box. You're getting all those ideas running and running and running, bouncing ideas off others, maybe collaborating with certain coworkers. And even as for health, the health stuff tied to the 6th house, yes, okay, it could very well suggest the sudden changes when it comes to your health. I mean, it could be suddenly there is an issue with you health-wise, wellness-wise, but then you may also be willing to learn the knowledge about whatever it is and make those adjustments if necessary. But unexpectedly, it could also be where, oh, you know what? I'm actually feeling a bit better here. I'm actually feeling okay here. Maybe being able to seek alternatives when it comes to health is important to you. Seeking alternatives when it comes to fitness, when it comes to your diet. There's the experimenting happening there too. Again. And naturally, there could be the sudden changes, the unexpected when it comes to your actual job, right? Your employment. So we think about those job changes, which again could be, right? There could be benefits to that. There could be changes that are exciting and it's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. There's this promotion or, oh, people are recognizing me. But there could also be the times of, right, this is happening and I can't really control this. And it's just riding it out. Or again, the problem-solving stuff, as we've been exploring here, seeking those alternatives, right? What can I do differently? How can I innovate here at the time? Okay, so let's now think about here, if Aquarius rules the 6th house cusp in your chart, you may relate to this information. So I know for myself, Aquarius rules the 6th house cusp, and I relate to this information because I have been experimenting a great deal with my routines, my everyday tasks, etc. And it's all about making sure that things do run well. Yes, there is that future vision that I hold in my mind. Maybe you can relate then, Uranus in the 6th house, folks. But as I say, if Aquarius rules the 6th house cusp, you may relate. And then what you want to do is locate both Saturn and Uranus within the chart and bring that information back to the everyday stuff. Moving on then to Uranus in the 7th house, folks. Uranus in the 7th house. Well, with Uranus in the 7th house, let's think about how, when it comes to relationships, my goodness, you need your freedom. You need your space. You do not like feeling as if you're being cornered, you're being suffocated, you're being trapped. Can't do this. You do not put up with control. You do not put up with demands, demanding authoritative influences, partners, friends, etc. You need to feel like you can make your own decisions, you can arrive to your own conclusions. And even if, sure, okay, relationships do require that give and take, it is a partnership after all, it is all about harmonizing and everything. Even if there is a decision, if there is something important to be made, you still need that space, that time to think it over. And it's important to you that your view about whatever the thing is, it's valued. It's still important. And I also see this as you attracting partners, so a significant other possibly, even marriage partners into your life who are like this, who need their own space. Heck, you could be more unconventional when it comes to marriage. You may decide never to get married. That could just be your attitude toward it. And don't want to get married ever. And there could also be something here about valuing friendship. Friendship above all else when it comes to relationships. If you don't feel like you can be friends, then maybe that's a big no-no for you. That's maybe an important quality to have. Heck, when it comes to the marriage stuff, the committed relationship stuff, maybe you think to yourself, well, hey, you know what? It's nobody else's business but mine and my significant others. Or whoever it is, right? Whatever style of relationship you're in, right? Even if it is like a polyamorous situation, which this could fit within the whole unconventional relationship stuff. But whatever it is, you still think to yourself, it's my business. None of your business. Is it affecting your life? No? Okay. Move on, right? It's that kind of attitude, right? And even if people are like, oh my gosh, they've been together for 6 years. Like, should they not be married now? I mean, if they're not married now, then clearly he's not ready to commit. Oh my gosh. That type of attitude, that type of behavior may infuriate you guys. Point being, this is about your style of relating. And you need to feel like you have a say there. And even if people have their opinions, you're still going to do what you want. Plus, we think about how your partnerships, your relationships may go through these sudden changes. Unexpected changes, unexpected shifts. Naturally, yes, it could be, right? It could be where unexpectedly a new relationship happens and it's like, whoa, oh my gosh, I met this person and I completely didn't see it coming. Whoa, knocked me off my feet. Or it could be oh, good damn, this relationship, it's over and I really didn't see it coming, or, my partner just came to me and said they didn't want to be together anymore. And right, there could be that kind of, oh my gosh, how? The surprise, the shock factor. But naturally, this could also relate to that of the unexpected evolution of your partnerships and your relationships. Where maybe, hey, you do start off as friends, and then all of a sudden, it is more. It is more. And you're thinking to yourself, I never thought we would be together like this. I'll be damned. I didn't think that. Or it could even be a change in someone's behavior, the way they behave, the way they act within the partnership. So there is a sudden progression, if you will, in their attitude, possibly. And I even want to say that you could rebel against the whole traditional way of behaving or showing up within partnerships. Consider this even when it comes to clients and customers. You may have a unique way of dealing with business partnerships, right? So I kind of think about with business and how that can play out within society. You may think, hey, yeah, business, let's go for drinks. you know, sure, it's business, but we're still going to have fun, or whatever that looks like for you, whatever the unconventional thing is, the difference is. And essentially, you're also going to seek alternatives. You may really like that actually when it comes to clients and customers and how you relate to people on a business level. You like to kind of see, oh, right, is there maybe something we could change? Is there a unique way of approaching this situation? And you could get excited about the visions and the new inspirations that come through. All right. So if Aquarius rules the seventh house cusp in your chart, so if Aquarius is on the descendant, you may very well relate to this information. Naturally, what you want to think about is locating both Uranus and Saturn in the chart, and then bringing that information back to that of partnerships and relationships and so on. Okay, so let's now focus on those of you with Uranus in the 8th house. Uranus in the 8th house, folks. First and foremost, what I'm going to say about you is, yes, when it comes to those esoteric subjects, the paranormal, the occult, all the metaphysical stuff, oh my gosh, you could very well surprise yourself with how good you are at seeing things from a bird's eye view within these areas, or the insights that you possess. My goodness, you can have these like big aha moments, these flashes, right? The lightning strike stuff to do with Uranus. Yes, you may have even a lot to share when it comes to these subjects too. Oh my gosh, yes, you can be highly, highly curious people when it comes to these areas. Now, as for here, shared resources, other people's money, how you share even with a significant other in terms of your resources and your finances, kind of similar to people with Uranus in the second house. I was saying Uranus in the second house can suggest the unexpected changes, the sudden changes to do with your earning potential, to do with finances. For you, similar sort of thing, but it's also showing up when it comes to investments, when it comes to yours and somebody else's earnings. So we think about, for instance, you actually being in a partnership with another. And so that money that is shared between you, there could be those unexpected changes. There could be those moments of, oh, flip, I did not see that coming. There could be an unexpected, whoa, this is great. The surprise in that, the beneficial side to that, but there could also be the loss side to it, right? There could be the change in financial opportunity, where it's a bit more chaotic and it's not so stable, and you feel a little bit stressed out about the whole matter as well. Naturally, with this is where we notice the problem solving, coming up with solutions, seeking alternatives. And even when it comes to intimacy, so the intimacy stuff related to the eighth house, well, you may more focus on how you can connect on an intellectual level with others, possibly. Maybe the way that you do connect, the way that you do relate on more of a deeper emotional level, it's not so familiar with others or to others. People may not really get it. And that doesn't mean that it's wrong, of course. It's just that it's more unique and a bit more different to you. And again, it could be that you relate more on an intimate level whenever it's more about the intellectual connection, or even perhaps having space, having your own independence, feeling free is somehow, these things somehow are tied to greater intimacy. What I'm getting is absence makes the heart grow fonder. I mean, you could be more than comfortable being in a long distance relationship. So you can meet somebody online and you may be more than comfortable just having it be that for a certain period of time, for example. Or even if you were close and you had an in-person relationship at the beginning, and then there's maybe some distance or there's travel or there's something there in between, you're okay with that. You're okay with those extended periods of time where you're separated, where you're apart for a while. And generally as well, I think rebellion is sort of like what transforms you a lot. It is your own independence. It's how you rebel against authority that is linked to your transformation. Well, transformations. This is really where we notice you evolving and coming into yourself. Maybe a big part of this is being able to recognize your own individuality and your uniqueness within it all, right? Maybe being able to see that there's power to be found in your rebellion. There's power to be found in you being this individual, this independent person. Heck, your independent perspectives, your individual perspectives when it comes to the whole metaphysical stuff could also be a big part of how you transform yourself, right? It's your own sort of unique views, it's your own cosmic downloads or flashes of insight that shake up the world, that change things, that revolutionize the world. And maybe you're all about bringing your knowledge and your wisdom to the world in this way, and people just don't know what they're going to get next. They don't know what to expect from you because there is an unpredictability to you in this way that, your views, your insights, your opinions, they could be out of the blue. You could get this hit of inspiration and then off you go and you're so in it and you just want to share and share and share and share and share and you're so excited about it as well. Heck, when we bring it back to the more resourceful stuff, the financial stuff, we could see you really seeking alternatives here. My goodness, setting yourself up for the future. Even thinking about better business approaches here, innovating there. The changes that come about there. And maybe a part of this is linked to communities, teams, or a part of this is linked to your own sort of ways of thinking outside of the box, right? How can I do this differently? What isn't being said? What is a different approach, a different strategy there? So again, we bring it back to the whole seeking alternatives. Yes. Now, if Aquarius rules the eighth house cusp in your chart, you may relate to this information, but you want to think about locating both Saturn and Uranus in the chart and then bring that information back to that of transformation and the shared resources stuff. Okay, let's think about now Uranus in the ninth house, folks. Yes, Uranus in the ninth house. Well, first things first, let's say this. You're the types of people who rebel against preachers, teachers. This is the way you must, this is the way you must behave. This is the thing you must believe in. Listen to me, I'm the authority. I know exactly what the truth is. You're like, who's this? Who's this that's getting on their soapbox and trying to tell the rest of society how to live their life? So you may really question, really, really question authority. And the other thing is, you might be rather unique, different, innovative when it comes to how you share your knowledge with the world. You might really set out on this path to do it differently. You're like, nope, I don't want to teach like that. I don't want to present my knowledge, my truth, my information to the world in that way. Not doing it. I don't want to publish this information the way that everybody else is doing it. So it's all about your own unique strategies and adding your unique twist to things. Plus, when we think about travel, right? So long distance travel, you may be like, oh, I see everyone's going to Dubai over the summer. That was something I even observed, like so many people going to Dubai. You think to yourself, I'm not going there. Why would I go there? Everyone's going to Dubai. I'm not going to Dubai. I'm going to go to South Africa instead. It's that type of just seeing that everyone's going one way and you think, nope, I'm going to go a different way. And there is this desire, I feel, this excitement within you to want to travel and to want to explore. You can be a really explorative person, and it doesn't necessarily have to be where you are setting off on these trips across the world to these different destinations. It could just be about reading, learning from within your own home, even. There's just this curiosity. And I think the curiosity, it needs to align with what you genuinely feel is true for you and relates to your own individual independent views. Heck, when it comes to how the ninth house is related to our belief systems, your beliefs unexpectedly, they could change, right? You could believe a certain way or a certain thing. This could be a religious belief, for example, a philosophical belief, and you're all for it, you're all in. But then, boom, out of nowhere, there's a flash of insight, there's a hit of inspiration, you're redirected, and then you believe in something else. You believe in something entirely different. And it's interesting as I was saying that, because I remember all those years ago, whenever I first got into astrology, which was back in 2016, I'm pretty sure Uranus was in the ninth house in the solar return chart that year. So that is fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating, because that is when I discovered this whole new way of viewing the world through this astrology lens. So Uranus in the ninth house, folks, you may relate. And then this, of course, is about the alternatives, seeking alternatives. You may even want to be more of a self-publisher, right? Because the ninth house looks at publishing, broadcasting, journalism, teaching. So you may decide to be an independent teacher, an independent publisher, or if we think about how the ninth house pertains to that of training programs, you might seek alternatives when it comes to training as well, or just take on pretty unique courses, join unique courses. And you're also just going to, in general, question what is being said and possibly innovate the message, innovate the teachings. All right, so if Aquarius rules the ninth house cusp in your chart, you may relate to the information that I just shared there, but you want to think about locating both Saturn and Uranus within the chart and then bringing that information back to that of your belief systems and your worldviews, teachings, etc., etc. Let's now move on to Uranus in the 10th house, folks. Well, Uranus in the 10th house, folks. Let's think about how the 10th house is about things like status, so social status, our public image, our reputation, what we're known for, stuff like that. You could very well rebel when it comes to all that stuff. You may think to yourself, oh, really? Like everybody thinks this is important, public image wise, reputation wise. Everyone seems to think that this is so important and this is so successful. I don't think so. I'm going to focus on my own unique success. You may question that quite a bit. You may very well question, what is success? Why is it that success is seen as, okay, we need to get the house, we need to have the family, we need to get married, this sort of process. You may question all of that, really, and live more of an unconventional lifestyle. Or you may just appreciate your freedom more. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do my own thing. And even if other people try to sort of give their perspectives and their opinions, you're still thinking to yourself, well, I'm still going to do what I want. Yes. Striving for your independence here is just very important. And on a professional level, this is also where we see this naturally, right? Because the 10th house is so much about our profession. So you may prefer to be that kind of unique, different person, professionally speaking. You may prefer not to be a part of a serious organization or company or firm, or you might even decide to start one of your own. That's a possibility. But if you do, it's going to be different. There's going to be some changes that you'll implement. And even on that note, when it comes to the unexpected changes to do with Uranus, my goodness, your career path could change. You may think one moment, yeah, okay, this is the career path, I'm going towards it. And then all of a sudden, the epiphanies, the aha moments, the lightning strikes of Uranus, and you think to yourself, well, I'm redirected, I'm going this way. And you may not even think about it so much. And it might also not be so clear in the moment either. That's the thing about the changes and the seeking alternatives and the rebellion when it comes to Uranus. You don't really know for sure what's going to happen, what the future holds. You have a feeling, right? Your intuition is like, it's going to work out. Hope. And so you move anyway. You go toward it. Naturally, with that, there could be some unexpected career changes that happen and they completely throw you off. Things that just happen outside of your control, and you're like, crap, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? What am I doing with my life? You could have those questions of, I'm not following the conventional path. Like, how is this going to pan out for me? Can I do this? All the self-doubt stuff could come into the equation. But then remember that the unexpected could happen again, and maybe you're redirected in such a way where you feel as if things are more open and you can be more guided toward that path, down that path, and you're feeling more inspired. Plus, I want to mention here that the work that you do, your achievements, your accomplishments, even your long-term goals, professionalism, becoming an expert, all of these things, success, these things may involve technology, involve you possibly making those changes to technology, working strongly with technology to your benefit, even thinking about greater mobility flexibility, or quite possibly you are known for being really charitable people, caring about society, wanting to make those social changes within the world. So perhaps you could use technology in this beneficial way. You could use technology to explore those alternatives when it comes to things like how society is run, the certain ways things are done. You could innovate. Yeah, you could create that social change. And maybe a lot of that is tied to your own innovative processes. Now, if Aquarius rules the 10th house cusp in your chart, or if Aquarius is on the midheaven in your chart, you may very well relate to the information that I just shared there, okay? But you want to locate both Saturn and Uranus for more information, and then bring that information back to that of professionalism, your successes, your career path, etc. Moving on then to Uranus in the 11th house, folks. Well, with Uranus in the 11th house, here we notice that you may be big into social change, really. This is you possibly getting out into your communities, possibly getting out into those social circles, participating, really advocating for things to change, standing up for human rights, standing up for the rights of animals, thinking about the environment, justice. You're so much about justice and seeing those changes in the world. So you're going to be very active about it, possibly. Or you're going to think outside of the box. You have all of these innovative ideas, seeking alternatives. And so you're going to possibly want to push for those things, or just to be a part of a movement, of a cause, of a charity, of a group, a club. And so those changes can be implemented, perhaps also because there's that strength stuff in numbers. You may also be very gifted in a way at networking, but the way you network, it's not so conventional. It's not so part of the social norm. You're going to think outside of the box. You're going to seek alternatives there. And maybe a big part of this is truly being able to connect many people together and seeing even the bigger picture, seeing things from a bird's eye view when it comes to the collective. And at the same time, I suppose it kind of goes back to what I was saying with Uranus in the first house as a possibility. There could be some loneliness in this. There could be some of this outcast stuff, feeling like you're really unusual, right? Or being treated like that, or just hard to connect. I mean, naturally with Uranus comes the shattering of systems, comes the unexpected changes, those unexpected shifts. And so those unexpected changes could be about friendships, could be about clubs. So it could be up to a certain point where you feel like, oh, we're all in this together. We're all in the same team. We're pushing for this change. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, flip, we don't relate anymore. Or it could feel like you're trying to get people in and people don't really hear your message. You're seen as a weirdo, a freak. Who are you to talk? But then to other people, you may feel like a genius, or you may be seen as a genius. This is the thing about Aquarius energy, Uranus energy. You could say this for Uranus through all of the houses, but there is a side to Uranus where you may be looked at like, huh? And then it's hard to relate. But then there's another side to Uranus where you can be looked at like, wow, like that. Wow, my mind is blown. That is incredible, right? So think about this energy when it comes to groups that you're a part of, friendships you're a part of. You could be the type of person, Uranus in the 11th house, who has friends from all walks of life, all corners of the globe, and So in this way, you could be friends with people who are way, way older than you, or who are a little bit younger than you. It's just quite versatile in that way. And maybe too, you like to feel like you are a part of something that's larger than you or bigger than you, right? To feel like you're a part of a big movement, or like you are making those changes in the world. Indeed. Plus, you're going to stand for freedom. So, if, for instance, you can sense that others are trying to come at you or assert their authority, you're going to rebel. Possibly rebelling, going your own way whenever you do not feel like you get along well anymore with certain friends. You need to feel like your individuality is respected and valued. Now, if Aquarius rules the 11th house cusp in your chart, you may relate to that information that I just shared there, okay? But what you want to think about is locating both Uranus and Saturn in your chart for more information, and then bring that information back to that of friendships, social change, communities, etc. Lastly, then, we've got Uranus in the 12th house, folks. Uranus in the 12th house. Okay, first things first, let's think about how the 12th house relates to that of spirituality, our spiritual practices. You may decide that you're going to go on a trip somewhere, just as a retreat somewhere. You may go on these unexpected retreats. You may really crave your freedom when it comes to your spiritual practices. And you prefer to think for yourself when it comes to spirituality in general. There could be a lot of excitement and passion related to spirituality. And there's also something unique that you share, that you bring. There's something unique that you offer. And don't get me wrong, it could very well be that you keep some levels of this to yourself. Because here's the thing, the 12th house is often what's hidden. And so you may hide these sort of unconventional views of yours. And you may not necessarily be open about what you see, about what you observe. And people may not notice or recognize this part of you, so to speak. Then again, hey, it could be that they do, but it's just that you don't realize they do. Still, there is a quirkiness to you. There is an eccentric side to your personality, indeed. And you possess these deeply spiritual insights, and such spiritual insights could come via those cosmic, right? The cosmic downloads that you get. You could possess particular psychic abilities there, being tapped into other worlds, or you could predict things before they happen. You can sense things that are up ahead without properly seeing them visibly. Or you could have these remarkable vivid dreams and you're like, whoa, what the heck? You could wake up in the middle of the night and you're thinking, where did that come from? How did that happen? Whoa. You could also be really intuitive and very much inspired by the spiritual realms. Possibly you could have all of this energy within you, this desire within you to want to share all your truth, all your knowledge with the world, your perspectives. But naturally with this, there could be times whenever you do that and other people think, don't see that. But then you could also share your perspectives with other people who think, oh my gosh, you're an absolute genius. Wow. But here's the other thing. You need your independence. Maybe you really need your time alone to sort of grasp, okay, letting this energy come through. Maybe you need that time to create, to innovate, and perhaps you will rebel against others who do not give you that time. So if, for instance, you've been very clear of, right, I need my alone time, I need to recharge here, and you're being disrupted, you're being annoyed by people, you may rebel then, and you completely detach from the whole situation. You may think to yourself, how could you not respect my independence? Do you not see that I'm trying to be alone here? I need this. Yes, rebelling in this way. And your solitude is just, it's strongly highlighted. And this is where you gain so many of your insights, right? Naturally, this could also be where, with the sudden changes, well, you get these epiphanies, these realizations to do with spirituality, or even to do with your own psyche, the sort of self-reflective piece to do with the 12th house. You may gain so much perspective into yourself, and that could come out through many ways, naturally. I mean, it could be expressed through how you journal, through how you write, through how you sing, through how you paint, acting, putting on a show, and, whatever sort of creative outlet it is. But you're also going to add your own unique twist. After all, you are. And really, here with the seeking alternative stuff, I mean, think about even how many people, how do we say, present spirituality today. Think about that in terms of social media. Uranus in the 12th house, folks, you may think to yourself, everybody's doing it that way, everyone's showing it that way. Well, that's not for me. I'm not going to do that. That, to me, that's not even the important part. That's not even what spirituality is all about. Actually, this is what it's about, right? So there could be some of that rebellion, some of that questioning, not doing things the way others do it, preferring your own freedom, and then seeking those alternatives. Now, if Aquarius rules the 12th house cusp in your chart, you could very well relate to the information that I just shared there. Naturally, you want to think about locating both Saturn and Uranus in your chart, and then bring that information back to that of spirituality and your alone time, inspiration, stuff like that. Okay, everyone. So this has been Uranus through the houses. Thank you so much for listening. And if you would like to join the Patreon, you can do so by going to the Patreon link down below. Thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. And thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for being here. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so by going to hannahselsewhere.com. And if you really enjoyed this presentation, you can always buy me a coffee. I have put the link actually to the coffee down below, because one of you did ask about that. So just to let you know, the link is down below. No pressure, of course, to do anything, but these are just my options. Again, everyone, thank you for listening. If anything, I hope that you found this video to be helpful. Please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know where Uranus is within your chart. Uranus is in Capricorn in my chart. It's in the 4th house using Placidus. It is in the 5th house using the whole sign system. And I will talk to you all in the next episode.